Okay, let's unpack this. We're taking a deep dive today into a place in central Bangladesh, Manikganj district,
Right.
known for its rivers, its history, and, well, some really fascinating stories locked within its borders.
Yeah, we've got quite a stack of sources here, different angles.
Exactly. We've got like a travelogue vibe from a YouTuber exploring the area, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Very personal.
And then the more, structured stuff,
Yes.
historical data, demographics from Wikipedia, info sites, Banglapedia for one specific area.
And that Bengal Institute piece on urban development, that's interesting too.
Yeah, plus glimpses of specific spots, this unique farm, a resort from other videos.
To quite a mix.
Our mission, basically, is to pull out the key nuggets from all this and paint a vivid picture of Manikganj district for you.
So where do we start? The roots, I guess.
Let's do it. Understanding its roots seems like the right place.
Okay, well, what's fascinating right off the bat is the administrative history. It wasn't always Manikganj district.
Right, it started smaller.
Yeah, looking at the sources, it began as just a subdivision, way back in 1845.
1845. And part of Faridpur district then. That feels quite removed from Dhaka, geographically speaking.
It does. And then, not long after, 1853, it gets transferred to Dhaka district.
Okay, so shifting allegiances early on.
Exactly. And it stayed that way for a long time. It wasn't until 1984 that it finally became a full-fledged district on its own.
1984. So that's relatively recent history for its current status. It has this whole layered administrative past.
And the name itself, Manikganj. Any clues there?
The sources hint at one possibility, something about a Sufi preacher.
Yes, possibly named after Sufi Manik Shah, a Muslim preacher who lived in the area. It's, a pretty common way places got their names back then.
Ties it to a person, gives it that historical anchor. Now, geographically, let's pin it down. Central Bangladesh, southwest of Dhaka.
Precisely. Part of the Dhaka division, and it sits right on the bank of the Kaliganga River.
Okay.
If you picture the map, you've got Tangail north, Dhaka and Faridpur south, Dhaka also east.
And the west is rivers, right? Big ones.
Yeah. The western edge is really defined by the Padma and the Jamuna rivers. That's where it borders Pabna and Rajbari districts across those massive waterways.
So it's not just near Dhaka. It's really woven into the regional geography by these rivers and borders. They must shape everything.
Absolutely, especially the rivers.
What about scale? How big is it population-wise?
The area is about 1,383.66 square kilometers, so decent size. And the population, according to the 2022 census data we saw, was over 1.5 million people.
Wow, over 1.5 million. That gives a density of, what, over 1,100 people per square kilometer?
That's the average, yeah. But the sources point out the main town area is much, much denser. So you get that mix of rural sprawl and packed urban centers.
Over 1,100 per square kilometer, definitely not empty space. And you keep coming back to the rivers. They sound like more than just borders.
Oh, they're lifelines. Totally central to Manikganj's identity. You've got the Padma, Kaliganga, Jamuna, Daleshwari, and Ichamati as the main ones flowing through or around it.
Right.
They impact agriculture, transport, daily life, everything.
And some of the sources, especially the vlogs, they make them feel real, don't they? Not just lines on a map.
Yeah, one person was describing the Kaliganga near Bethabija, talking about the beauty, the big boat.
Been wanting to just jump on one? I get that feeling.
Totally. They also mentioned seeing the Ichamati River from the Torai Bridge, another piece of the network.
And then the Padma at Arichagat. That sounds immense.
Huge. The source mentioned the ferries there carrying cars, trucks, people. It's a major transport hub, that river crossing.
Definitely.
And another observation from the Tilly Bridge, looking at the Daleshwari, they noted how wide it looked, but with lots of charland visible.
Those sandbars or islands that form.
Exactly. Which suggests, the river's size probably changes dramatically with the seasons. It could be much fuller other times of year.
So these rivers are dynamic, beautiful, essential, and always changing.
Okay.
What about the main town? The institutions, the buildings?
Well, the sources give us a tour of the key public buildings, the sort of civic heart. You've got the district commissioner's office, obviously.
The D.C. office. And the Chief Judicial Magistrate Court. Wasn't there a funny comment about that one?
Huh, yeah. The vlogger joked about truants hanging around the girls' school, being brought there for judgment. Bit of local color, maybe?
Gives you a feel for the place. Hopefully just joking. What else in that administrative cluster?
The district education office, the Zilla Parishad, the LGED building, that's local government engineering.
Infrastructure folks.
Right. And the police superintendent's office, the SP office. with the circuit house apparently right across from it.
Okay, a solid administrative center. And education seems like a big deal, too.
Very much so. Lots of institutions listed, schools, colleges, a medical school, Colonel Manik Medical College,
Right.
plus madrasas, vocational institutes, and some have real history. Manikganj Government High School, that goes back to 1884.
Wow, 1884.
And Government Debendra College, 1942.
Debendra College. Didn't someone notice something odd on top of that building?
Yes. The vlogger pointed out a star on the roof. Joked maybe they won a World Cup or something.
Yeah, a memorable detail.
And other old schools mentioned too, like Baliadi Iswar Chandra High School from 1919, Tioda Academy from 1891. Deep roots.
And health. Sadhudhar Hospital, the medical college.
That's right. The same source that joked about the court also made a comment about the medical college maybe treating a lovesick friend. Again, that playful local perspective.
Right. So a town with its core functions well established. Beyond those, what about cultural sites, historical markers? Seems like there's a lot related to history.
Absolutely. Memorials are prominent. There's the Manikganj Smriti Pseudo Shahid Minar. The memorial monument described as having a unique design.
Unique how? They didn't say.
Not in detail, just that it stood out compared to others. Then there's the Bijoy Mela field, apparently a huge field, connected to childhood memories for the person mentioning it.
Nice. And Independence Square, Adomi 71 monument. Clearly, the Liberation War is very present.
Hugely present. And a language movement, too. Language, martyr Rafiq Uddin Ahmed. He was from Manikganj, born in Peril Village, 1926.
Ah, okay. Is there anything specific there for him?
Yes, there's a dedicated museum, the Basha Shahid Rafiq Smriti Jaduhor in Singar Upazila.
That's significant. And another memorial near the bus stand. For freedom fighters.
Yeah, paying tribute to 49 martyred freedom fighters. And the sources also recount specific incidents from the 1971 war that happened right there.
Like what?
Well, there's mention of a battle at Galedanga village in Singar, October 29, 1971. Freedom fighters reportedly ambushed Pakistani soldiers on boats.
Okay.
The sources state 81 Pakistani soldiers were killed in that fight, and significantly that no freedom fighters were lost in that specific engagement, led by someone named Tabarak Hussain Ludu.
That sounds like a major victory for them in that instance. But war is brutal.
It is. The sources also report the aftermath. Pakistani forces retaliated, burning 160 houses in the area and killing 9 local civilians. Just devastating.
Horrible.
Following that, Singar Upazila was declared free on November 13, 1971. Then, towards the very end of the war, around December 14th in Manikganj Center,
What happened then?
Liberation forces encountered some Pakistani soldiers. Seems like 2 got left behind by their retreating group. One was caught on the 14th, the other after a small fight the next day.
And that led to the area being declared free?
Yes, the sources suggest the subdivision was declared free around December 13th or maybe 14th, 15th. Slight variations there.
Powerful moments from 71. But the history goes back much further.
Oh yeah, way back.
Yeah.
Sources mention a battle at Garpara between the Bengal Sultan Sikandar Shah and his own son, Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah.
A father-son conflict. How did that end?
Badly for the father. The Sultan died in that battle. Later, 1662, Mir Jumla set up a military outpost at Garpar, so it was strategically important even then.
A resistance during British times?
Yep. Indigo uprisings in the 19th century happened here, and one specific event noted. 1932, anti-British revolutionaries looted a postal dispatch in the area.
Wow. So centuries of conflict, change, resistance. It's all layered there. What about religious sites?
Lots of mosques and temples mentioned. Notable ones include the Manikganj Jami Mosque, the Sri Anandamayi Kalabari that dates back to 1895,
Okay.
and Madamath from 1894.
Madamath. That's the one with the simple story.
Left. Yeah, the source just said a son built it for his father, and basically that's all you need to know for the test. Memorable, anyway.
Definitely is. Any others?
Shib Bari Temple, also called Shibari Nat Mandir, and one source briefly mentioned police warnings near there, though no real context given.
Okay. So, historical sites, religious sites, layering the past onto the present. Let's shift gears slightly. What about daily life? Commerce, food, the general vibe?
Seems quite vibrant. The sources mention 166 permanent markets, huts, and bazaars. And get this, 54 fairs held across the district annually.
54 fairs. Wow, that's like one a week almost. Sounds lively.
It really does. Famous ones listed include the Manikganj Bijoy Mela, Bahadiya Boishaki Mela, Joymar Top Madhor Mela, and specific local markets like Bera Bazaar, Jitka Bazaar, Sangera Bazaar.
And the food experiences. The vlog made it sound delicious. Trying that special sweet pantua.
Yeah, from Polash's shop.
Ah,
and the famous Mama Cha tea, and having Halim at Raj Hotel.
Plus lots of sweet shops generally in town, apparently.
Those details really bring it to life. Economically, agriculture is huge. Paddy, wheat, jute, tobacco, potatoes, veggies, the usual suspects for the region.
And industries beyond farming.
Yeah, various kinds, including traditional cottage industries, goldsmithing, pottery, weaving, tailoring, that sort of thing.
Okay. And getting around. Mostly roads now.
Primarily roads, though one source had that slightly nostalgic observation about traditional transport, horse carriages, bullock carts being basically extinct now.
Yeah.
Shows how much things have changed.
Oh, horse carriages. Yeah, really underlines the shift. Speaking of the past leaving its mark, those Zamindar Barras, the old palaces, sound fascinating and kind of complex.
They really do. These old estates of the wealthy landlords, they tell a story. The Baliadi Zamindar home in Saturia, described as Alishan grand, basically multiple big buildings.
But the vlog perspective was quite critical, wasn't it? Questioning the goodness of the owners.
Yeah, contrasting the massive scale of the palaces with, like, the lack of a modern water pump still needing a well. That juxtaposition between the historical wealth and, well, modern basics. It makes you think.
Definitely. A challenging perspective on that history. What about the Toyota Jamindar Bari?
That's in Shivalaya. It has a cool cultural link, a line from the poet Qazi Nazrul Islam. Toyota, you are beautiful, was supposedly written there.
Oh, nice. But the same critical source had strong words for those owners, too.
Very blunt. Called them very bad Zamindars. Alleged they lived in luxury while people struggled, maybe were even imprisoned. It's a harsh take, presented quite directly in that source.
Wow, powerful viewpoint. There's also a math nearby Toyota.
Yeah, the Navaratna math is mentioned nearby. And then there's Baliadi Palace. Locals call it a Zamindar Bari.
But it wasn't quite.
Well, the source suggests the owner was actually a rich jute businessman from Kolkata who built this big house. And locals just sort of adopted the term Zamindar for him in the place.
Ah, interesting how names stick. And there's a bamboo bridge near Batila, too. Batila or Butha Bridge?
These old places, whether true Zamindar homes or just grand houses, they really capture the imagination and make you reflect on that whole era.
Absolutely. But beyond those historical estates, the sources pointed to some really unique, more contemporary places, too.
Yes. One sounds particularly special, the Puranan Boichutra Kamar in Kautia village, Gyur, described as an ideal farm and natural agriculture center.
And the story behind it is someone described as a man of the soil, apparently left Dhaka life to build this place.
Yeah, aiming to recreate a traditional village feel. Courtyard, Kacharigar, Golagar, Goilgar, all those traditional structures, surrounded by big vegetable fields.
And the experience sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like traditional breakfasts, vapa and chitoi pithas with different bartas.
Gumuri, herbal tea, relaxing on a machangar.
Oh.
That raised...
And picking your own veggies. Chemical-free cauliflower, cabbage, carrots. That sounds fantastic.
Totally. Then they serve this farm-to-table lunch. Specific rice mentioned, Hildia rice, more barthas, farm chicken, pond fish, dal, all in clay pots.
It sounds so grounded and authentic. They offer accommodation, too. And you can buy produce.
Yeah, day trips or overnight stays. And you can buy honey, oils, jaggery, veggies, rice. The key thing the source emphasized was the feeling.
Which was?
Like visiting your own village home. Because of the hospitality, the simple atmosphere. A real contrast to city life.
A world away, sounds like. Okay, then on the flip side, there's the Shopnapuri Resort Dream Palace.
Right. Founded by Nawab Ali Azam Khan and M. Abd al-Qadir Tipu. It's got, a fancy entrance, duplex houses, green areas, a swimming pool.
And that guitar sculpture, someone mentioned that.
Yeah, a large guitar sculpture near the pool. The source said it made it feel like a resort in Nepal or somewhere else entirely. Gave it this unique, maybe slightly surreal vibe.
Huh. Interesting. And the vision was for entertainment, raising animals, even filming.
That was the idea, creating this sort of dreamlike escape. And premium luxurious rooms are available, apparently.
So you've got this spectrum, the earthy, traditional farm experience, and this curated, almost fantasy resort experience.
Exactly. And amidst all that, you still find things like that bamboo bridge someone mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Still existing, still in use in, 2025, according to the source's timeline reference. Walking on it, feeling it wobble, seeing kids fishing below.
It's a small detail, but it says so much about how different layers of time and infrastructure coexist.
It really does. Now, connecting all these places and stories back to the people seems important. Who are some of the notable names linked to Manikganj?
We already mentioned language martyr Rafiq Uddin Ahmed, obviously a key figure from Peril Village.
Right. Who else?
Munir Chowdhury, the famous Educator, dramatist, literary critic.
Yeah.
One source says born in Dholapur.
Okay. And Amartya Sen, the economist.
Yeah, Nobel laureate Amartya Sen. Sources mention him visiting his ancestral home there. One source also says he was born in Dholapur, same as Chaudhary.
Interesting. Definitely. Any others from more contemporary fields?
Mumtaz Begum, the singer and politician. She gets mentioned in the vlog and listed as an MP for the area.
Ah, okay.
And Konatar Rahman, actor, filmmaker, composer. Another big name.
And linking back to education, the founder of Devendra College.
Ranada Prasad Saha, the businessman who established it in 1942. A lasting legacy there. Plus, educator Dinesh Chandra Sen and filmmaker Hiralal Sen are also mentioned in connection with the area.
And sports.
Cricketer and politician Maimur Rahman Durjoy, listed as being from Manikganj. So it's quite a diverse group: arts, politics, education, sports, activism.
A real mix of influential people connected to this one district. Okay, looking ahead, what about development? That Bengal Institute source had plans, right?
It did, particularly focusing on Manikganj town and its relationship with Dhaka. This Dhaka Nexus's idea,
Which is about.
developing towns near Dhaka, like Manikganj, to take some pressure off the capital, making them more livable, but crucially, trying to help them keep their own identity.
Makes sense. What specific plans did they mention for Manikganj town?
An integrated land use plan, thinking about how to better use open spaces, ponds, river, and canal fronts, seeing potential for it to be a cultural hub.
And dealing with practical issues,
Yeah.
like waste.
Big one. Sources say there's currently no comprehensive waste management system, which causes pollution. So implementing a proper system is a key part of the plan.
Good. What else?
Canal redevelopment, specifically the Nodi Balabanta Canal. The idea is to reclaim it as public space, maybe for water transport again, and make the banks into vibrant urban areas.
And the main road.
Turning the main access road into more of an urban corridor or promenade with different features along it. It shows they're really thinking about growth, environment, and character.
It sounds ambitious. But while planning for the future, we also have to acknowledge some devastating past events mentioned in the sources, like that tornado.
Yeah, the Dholapur Saturia tornado, April 26, 1989. It's chilling. Wikipedia describes it as the deadliest tornado ever recorded globally.
Deadliest. How bad was it?
Just horrific figures. 1,300 people killed, 12,000 injured. It flattened the towns of Saturia and Manikganj, left around 80,000 people homeless.
Oh my God. That's unimaginable scale. A stark reminder of nature's power there.
Absolutely. And the sources also note another tornado hit Manikganj Sadar back in 1985.
Yeah.
So it's a reality they've faced.
That really adds another layer of context. So pulling all these threads together, Manikganj is clearly a place of deep layers, striking contrasts.
Totally. You've got this evolving administrative history, ancient battles, geography dominated by rivers.
The core institutions, the cultural sites, the glimpses of daily life and food.
Then those Zamindar Barras, viewed critically today, standing alongside unique modern spots like that traditional farm and the fantasy resort.
Plus the notable figures who came from there, the plans for the future, and the shadow of those natural disasters.
It paints a really complex, compelling picture, doesn't it? A place deeply shaped by its history and geography, navigating the present, planning for the future.
We've definitely covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Manikganj district.
Yeah.
From, how it even became a district through conflicts, the vital rivers, schools, colleges, those amazing, complicated Zamindar stories seen through different lenses.
Yeah, and the unique local spots that farm, the resort offering such different vibes, plus the development plans.
Thinking about the sheer contrast, right?
Yeah.
Between the historical luxury of the palaces and that modern critical view, or the simple, earthy life at the Puran Boichitra Kamar versus the Shapnopuri resort.
And then the devastating force of that 1989 tornado existing in the same reality as these forward-looking urban plans. It really makes you think about how many different worlds can exist in one place.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for you listening? Well, maybe it gets you thinking about how history, geography, culture, even things like being near a big city, plus individual vision, how all that weaves together to shape a place like Manikganj.
Or maybe it just inspires you to look a bit closer, to find the unique stories and the hidden contrasts in the places around you in your own life.